What's up, Savages? This is Coach Chip, and you watching Toe to Toe TV. Let's get right into it. Keyshawn Davis fumbles the bag with his weight gate debacle and the DB3 Diabolical show. Let's get right into it. It's unprecedented. It's unheard of. But I tell you what, one thing that is heard of, and it seems to be an ongoing current event. I don't know what's up with the month of August and missing weight with big shows. Gervonta Davis wins the title from Pedraza, and then this is in 2017. He missed weight. He missed weight against I forget the guy's name. I posted up. Y'all know how I am with names. He misses weight 2017. He gets stripped of his title. And then 3 years later, David Benavidez, he missed weight in 2020 against Angulo, and he gets stripped of his title. And now, Keyshawn Davis, he missed weight and he loses his title. I don't know what's going on with the month of August. I don't know what's going on with the month of August, ladies and gentlemen, but it seems to be the month where big shows happen. Superstardom is on the cusp of a fighter's career, and they miss weight. I don't know. Anyways, what Keyshawn thought with those other guys missing weight, the only thing that's different is their fights went on. Gervonta went and he fought, and David Benavidez, he went and he fought. Unfortunately, it did not happen for Keyshawn. And the way that he was on the scale, he wasn't even. Keyshawn didn't even look like he tried to make weight. He didn't even look like he tried to make weight. Cause when you are, struggling to be in a certain weight class, and it might be your last time and things like that, your face, your body's all drawed up, you're looking real skinny, you're looking like a pencil, and Keyshawn looked fine. Keyshawn looked strong. He didn't have any. He didn't hop off the scale and go grab no Gatorade, no nothing. He was just like, man, it is what it is, what he thought. And see, Keyshawn came in at the weight that he said that he wanted to fight at. He was like a pound off. He was like 139. So he said he wanted to go up to 140. So what was going to happen was he was going to rehydrate and come in that ring at least at no less than 147, 150, maybe even 154. That's why he was saying, I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to knock him out. Because I don't think he planned to make weight, which is why De La Santos' promoter, his coach, his advisor, people said, nah, bro, we ain't going to be your sacrificial lamb so you can look good at home and knock me out. So they took the check. They got their bag and left. Keyshawn didn't get paid. They got paid. He did not get paid. And then his brother, Kelvin, fought Albright, and he looked extra big too. Albright came up from 135 and fought him at 140 and gave him all the problems that he can handle. So you got a lot of it's a tactic that a lot of people use, but it's a lot of weight bullying. But this is a case where weight bullying didn't go so good, because Keyshawn thought, I'm home, I'm the star, this is my city, this, that, and the third. De La Santos got a bag. I'm definitely gonna make a bag. He gonna take the fight. He gonna take the fight, and it didn't turn out that way. And De La Santos said, hey, in the beginning at the press conference, that things don't go as you think they're playing. And he was talking about the fight, but this is like a twofold situation, because Keyshawn was on the scale, and at the weigh-in, like everything was cool, you know. Uh, he didn't have, and then he was eating popcorn. He didn't apologize to the people. They sold over 10,000 tickets, but since he wasn't fighting, 2,000, like over 2,000 people asked for their money back. He wasn't apologetic. He eating popcorn. You know, and like I said before in the previous interview, you know, you hanging around with a lot of young guys, and you know, you're not focused. You focus on you know, other things and trying to look a certain type of way in front of your crowd. You know, this thug mentality that you got going on, and it is definitely a thug mentality because after Nahir Albright whooped Kelvin Davis soundly, and the scorecard was crazy. Hey, Albright won that thing unanimous, but I don't know what the other judge was thinking. But anyways, after he win, they just go in the back where this man locker room at in the hallway, and they just start a fight. They jump on this man, this, that, and the third. It's supposed to be a celebratory moment. He won the belt. It was a fair fade. He just lost, and Keyshawn was upset. I think the whole thing was just on him. You know what I mean? He didn't fight top rank. Probably lost a lot of money. You know what I mean? You got to buy the venue. You got promotions. You got all of this stuff going on, and they just lost a lot of money. You know, it was over 2,000 people one day want their money back. So, and it's an embarrassment. It's a black eye. You don't know if he'll be able to. It's an embarrassment to his city. You had the mayor out there. You had all these celebrities, and you know, you didn't make weight, and you talk a lot. Keyshawn talk a lot. He's a very opinionated young man. He believes in himself. He got a lot of confidence, which is cool. But you got to back up the play, bro. You have to, when you talk like that, you have to back up the play. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Bud Crawford ever missed weight. You know, he said he asked Floyd to pull up while he was sparring, and Floyd pulled up. Floyd never missed weight. He never missed weight. So you surrounding yourself around people, and you know it's cool. It's good. They give you inspiration. They lift you up and stuff like that, and it's cool to be, and it's best to be surrounded around people that's smarter than you, that's more experienced than you. That way you grow. But you have to be able to return what's being poured into you. You have to be able to return that with reciprocity. You have to be able to deliver once those people start believing in you, and you running all the miles, and you got all the sparring, and you got all this. He had an extensive amateur background. You work your way all the way up to the top, and you got a successful event in Norfolk, and then you come back, which he admittedly said that Top Rank said they wanted to come back, and then you miss weight, and and on top of yourself, you call yourself the businessman, and you was talking and talking and talking. Keyshawn rubbed people, a lot of people, the wrong way because he talks a lot, but I get it. You know, like I said, I'm a coach. So you have different personalities with fighters. Some people like Abdullah Mason. He said he let his hands do the talking. You know, and some people are verbal. Floyd was verbal. Keyshawn is verbal. Muhammad Ali, the beloved Muhammad Ali, is verbal. A lot of people didn't like Muhammad Ali because the time that he was verbal was unheard of. But he's verbal. But those guys back up what they're saying, and it's a lot with this fame, you know what I mean, and this new generation and how they operate and how they move around. You know, Keyshawn is young, you know, and hopefully he'll bounce back. Some people say they're not rocking with him. He lost them as a fan, but he's gonna have to really uh, put on a show at 140 the way he did at 135 with some dangerous names to get back in good graces with the industry, with the fans, and stuff like that, because he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and he thought that De La Santos was gonna come in and he was gonna make a statement on De La Santos. He probably was gonna come in there a welterweight, you know what I mean, junior middleweight, because Keyshawn, he's a big little dude, you know what I mean. He got some nice shoulders, back. I seen him in person at Pro Box in Plant City. He came down and Kelvin was down there fighting. He ain't no little fella as a little guy would look at that in that weight class. So he's moving in a way. Matter of fact, all of them. Keon did good though. He stopped this guy. In the second round. Undefeated fighters. I think it was 3-0 with 2 knockouts. He stopped him with a body shot in the second round, and he looked good. All things considering, he's 3-0 with 2 knockouts, and the other guy he was fighting was 3-0 with 2 knockouts. So he did pretty good. But I just they're moving. I think they're moving them too fast. I think they're moving them too fast. A lot of guys need experience. You're looking at your brother. One is older, one is younger, and this not by osmosis. You don't best be around people, and you just because that's your brother and he's on a certain level doesn't make you on a certain level. Even though like Keyshawn is around other people and is sharper than him, but he was already like an amateur standout. You know what I mean? He went to the Olympics and all that kind of stuff. Not saying that you need to be go to the Olympics to be great, but I seen Kelvin fight in person, and his transition and his positioning from offense to defense, when he goes straight, he pulls straight back a lot. His chin is up in the air. He don't have any mid-range game. He doesn't have any in the pocket game. So that hurt him against somebody like Albright. He's coming in getting up under his jab and throwing looping right hands, straight right hands, changing the levels on his jab, stuff like that. A lot of that stuff, comes with experience. And he gave Keyshawn all that he can handle. It was a lot of debate on whether Keyshawn won that fight with some people. So I just don't think his brother was ready for something like that. Everybody talking about, I'm gonna get a title, this, that, and the third. You need experience. You need experience, and you need time to develop. You know what I mean? Who are you as a fighter? Are you a boxer puncher? Are you a mover? Are you a counter puncher? The amount of rounds that it was set to go, I just think he's moving too fast. I think it was moving too fast. As far as the DB3 movement goes, trying to keep up with Keyshawn, even fighting on a top-ranked card like that, and Pro Box, because Pro Box, like, their whole montage is it's a 50-50 fight. You know what I mean? They match you pretty evenly, so it's no shame to go to some club shows and get some experience, because you got a lot to live up to with Bo Mack, Keyshawn, and you in there with Terrence Crawford and stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, that was definitely a weight bullying situation that went wrong. He thought that he was gonna be in there with De La Santos, and he was gonna step on him and do something to him that hasn't been done before stop him. He thought that he was gonna come in there and make a statement and look good in front of his crowd, and his it didn't show. And another thing too, it's important how you carry yourself, because boxing is a business. So you got a lot of it's cool to have an edge to you and stuff like that. And when it's time to fight, you some fighters get edgy and agitated and ready to fight, stuff like that. But it's a certain way to carry yourself as a business, as a franchise. You going up and you DB3 and this, that, and the third. You got it all over your pants and your shirts and your trunks and all that kind of stuff like that. You're a business and a promotional company, and you're trying to get your brothers on and stuff like that. And for you not to make weight, doing all this talking, carrying yourself a certain type of way, whereas though you calling everybody out, you calling out Abdullah Mason, this, that, and the third, and then your brother loses a fight fair and square, and you go back, you and Keon, and I don't believe Kelvin had anything to do with it. And the promoters for RDR was talking about suing. Yeah, was talking about suing. So it's a lot of things that Keyshawn got to face, the aftermath of all of this. How's Top Rank gonna deal with him as a commodity, as a prospect? Because they lost money. Period. Like I said, it's a business. You got to carry yourself a certain type of way. You in the hurt business and you doing those things in the ring and stuff like that. But Keyshawn wasn't in the ring. He never stepped in the ring. He never stepped in the ring, and he affected the whole show. He affected the whole show with unprofessionalism. And, karma's a bitch. What I mean? Pride comes before a fall. And it comes on us all. You're not exempt. And you thinking, you get that feeling. I was a young fighter once, you know what I mean? You feel like you untouchable. Then you got the city behind you, you got the homeboys behind you, it's whatever. Anybody disrespect you, dog, is his own, this, that, and the third. When, brother, you are a franchise. You are a franchise, and you are a business that work yourself up from the ground, from the mud. You get there to the place where you dream to be, and you just that quick, you just lose everything. Now, to battle yourself back, you know what I mean? It's a lot of people like comeback stories. A lot of people like humility. A lot of people like self-examination, and that can be a story where he can hopefully lift himself back up. But he's gonna this franchise and his movement, his stock probably went down a tick or two, maybe more than that, along with his brothers. And how the mayor, the city, and people gonna look at that, sponsorships, stuff like that, because it ain't just you no more. You not in the hood no more. You can't have those emotional reactions like that, because you're a business. You're a LLC, a C Corp, a S Corp, Inc. Period. Point blank. You got advisors, managers, lawyers, all of those things involved when you get to that point. So you have to carry yourself accordingly. And like Abdullah Mason, Abdullah Mason is fighting on your undercard, and he got chosen to be the main event. They say God working in mysterious ways, and the good books also say pride comes before a fall. So now the person you called out and was trying to clown out and belittle, he ended up being the main event. Go figure that. Go figure that. But some people, It take, you know, falling on your head a couple times, bumping your head, you know, looking back when you get older. We all did. I'm an older statesman now. You look at stuff I did when I was 26 and be like, the hell was I thinking? So hopefully, you know, and I know he hurting because if I'm not mistaken, I think that was $1 million payday. That's not nothing to sneeze at. That's not nothing to sneeze at. And it's a lot of people that's well to do, big platforms and things like that, that are not dealing with Keyshawn or DB, and that's gonna roll down to DB3 because he the leader, he the face of DB3, and then you know you got Pee Wee, Sweet Pea rather, my bad, Pee Wee. You got Sweet Pea, and taking on that counterpart. You know, you got a person that's coming from Virginia that won the gold in the Olympics, came in and he moving up in weight, beating everybody. He's known as the master of defense and this, that, and the third. And you know, that's a legend. And you know, you say his name out your mouth, you know, took pictures with him, stuff like that, and then to fall like that, or to do something like that on in the city for that man's legacy that you tying yourself in with because you done said it in interviews. You want to, you know, put the city on your back like that, brother. That's gonna be that's gonna be a hill to climb back up on. You know, that's gonna be a hill because if you move a certain type of way and you're not dealing with sponsorships, and you know you just got that type of reputation like a James Toney or something like that, you know what I mean, even a Mike Tyson, you know, but that's not how you started, you know, and the mayor is speaking on his behalf, so it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. Now he's gonna have those opportunities because he's a talent. He's a talent, and he's a young talent. But all it takes is a one mishap, like what Pacquiao said about the LGBTQ community. Nike dropped him just like that, and Pacquiao is beloved by our country. Pacquiao was late getting on a plane to come to the States, and the airport stopped until he got there. And Nike still dropped him just like that. You know what I mean? So, you know, that balancing act to keep all your networking alive, all your sponsorships alive, take you and your brothers up to a higher echelon in boxing that is a lot to do, and you can't do that from the smallest minute things because you got a magnifying glass on you, and you know you can't. Oh, he missed weight. Oh, he ain't in training camp. Oh, he walking around fat. Oh, he did this and oh, he did that. Everybody ready to kick you when you're down, kick you before you fall down, stuff like that. So, you know, especially when you verbal like that. So, hey, you know, it was just an all around. I can't front, man. It was an all around bad. Wouldn't say on like the whole thing of boxing is just bad for him as a franchise and as a young man, and the movement that they took their time to make DB3. Because I was looking at videos of Keyshawn and his earlier fights, and he always, from what I saw, he always had the DB3 stuff on his shorts. You know what I mean? I was just noticing that. Sort of like when 50 first came out with G Unit. You know what I mean? Nobody knew what that was until he kept saying it. So, but he kept building it up. So you can't have nobody messing up your business because all you got is your word in the beginning. So, you know, we're going to see how this plays out. We're going to see if he can bounce back. We're going to see if, you know, he is effective, as effective at 140 as he was at 135. We're gonna see who he calls out at 140. I think what's your boy name? He probably gonna have to be to get people interested in him like he did for this fight with De La Santos. He had to call out somebody like what's the dude name? Mattia, I think his name is. Hard hitting dude. Somebody that's real dangerous or go straight after Tiafimo or something like that. You know what I mean? To get people to be interested in, and then on top of that, he's gonna have to win in impressive fashion just to move forward from this right here. You know what I mean? He gonna have to really put his foot down, and Kelvin gonna have to go back to the drawing board and tighten up on his mid range game, and his in the pocket game. He was holding a lot, stuff like that, chin in the air, because if he don't have, he the type look like if he don't have the room to line you up, you can press him and get past his hands. He in trouble. But we gonna see how he bounced back, when he bounces back. I'm gonna keep my eye out and see what the aftermath is, and bring out the news to you as soon as I get it. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you go check out our apparel. Go to this is our Taino man right here. You can go to Toe to Toe Savage Apparel. That's TOE, the number 2, TOE, savageapparel.com. Get you a shirt, get you a hoodie, look spiffy in the gym. We represent the culture of boxing. So, and follow us on Instagram at Toe to Toe TV. And I'll be back, and y'all stay tuned. This boy Coach Chip, and I'm out.